Welcome back to the In the Clinic podcast with Rob. And today, if you're looking to find my top books of 2024 that have shaped my ability to understand health, wellness, fitness, and just really how to maximize longevity, then this is the podcast for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. If you're listening to this on the road, traveling, working out, I thank you as well. Today, the focus is really to go through what has helped shape me this year in 2024. Usually, year after year, I'm looking for some level of knowledge, whether it's going to be from a video, from YouTube content, from educational content, journals, courses that I go to. But the greatest source of knowledge for me has been books. And part of what I do is I take a podcast, I take a video that I've been watching on YouTube from a source that I respect, and the knowledge that they're given to me is transformational. And at that point, I realize I don't know enough. I don't have a great enough depth in this topic to be able to truly start advancing in my ability to help my clients, to help my patients, and really transform even myself as an individual that's seeking longevity. So at that point, I'm really keen to listening to individuals that start saying, hey, read this book, follow this advice. It is the greatest source of knowledge acquisition that I've been able to do, is to take the information that the mentors that I have from YouTube, from Instagram, from in-person mentors. I take that knowledge that they have and the advice they have on the books that they read, and I apply it to my life. So for me, if I have an in-person mentor, I'm always picking their brain with the knowledge that they have. I want to know how they got it. So usually there's a book or there's something that they have acquired this knowledge from, and I want it. So at that point, I immediately get on Amazon or another source, and I will find that book and I'll just order it. I'm not even ready to read it yet. I'm not even ready to digest it, but it's sitting on the desk waiting to be utilized. So for me, it's the book in waiting. It's the one that's coming up next. And I've even had difficulty in the past where I didn't have time to go and read the book that somebody recommended to me. I had purchased it, I had it, and I'll never forget this year, and I'll tell you which book it is as we go along, that I had a client tell me that, hey, everything that you're talking about really aligns with this book. You should read that book. I purchased it. I put it in my stack, and it slowly made it onto my bookshelf, but I never read it. And I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to an individual talk about how transformational this information is. I'm like, man, I wonder where they got that. And they recommended that exact same book. And I actually went to Amazon to go and purchase it. And it said right under the book, you purchased this on this date. And I went, oh boy. Okay. I went to my bookshelf, found it, and realized, okay, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself with just acquiring books that I'm waiting to read. So for you, if you're looking to continue to acquire knowledge, information that you can actually apply, again, my greatest source of in-depth understanding and learning, books. So 2024 was a transformational year for me in what we're doing with our clinic and how we're attacking wellness. We've really switched to a longevity approach, and this is more of a holistic approach because I found that individuals did not always get better solely with physical therapy. They did not get solely better with just improving their fitness, that there's so many nuances to health and wellness, and what it really comes down to is understanding longevity. So the books that really helped shape my understanding of longevity, health, wellness, and really how to acquire the tenets that we need to be preventative in our disease states or to help cure some of these disease states, these books help shape me. So I'm going to go from the order that was the impactful to the most impactful for me for 2024. So the first one I want to get into is Good Energy. And this is by Casey Means and also Callie Means. This, to me, was actually the most transformational, was listening to the podcast on modern wisdom, and Callie Means goes through and explains how he used to be a lobbyist for big food, and he goes through and explains how our pharmaceutical and food industry is absolutely wreaking havoc on our health and our wellness, and it's all part of a bigger plan to continue to generate profit. And that to me was a wide eyes wide open moment. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, so to me it was on that realm of conspiracy theory, but from his in-depth discussion on his experience as a lobbyist for big food, his sister, who is the lead author on this, which is Casey Means, who was a physician that was a surgeon, ENT surgeon, and she saw the handwriting on the wall, and both of them got together and wrote this book. They have also been in front of Congress discussing the concerns that they have as far as with our health and our wellness, and we'll see if there's talk with Casey Means possibly being involved in the HHS in the future. So we'll see. We need to have a revolution in our health, in the way that we produce food, in the way that our companies are compensated for information that they're putting out. And this book really helps shape about how these foods are really destroying our health and our wellness, and give some actual strategies on how to improve. So Good Energy was one book that made my list of top 20. I read 20 books this year. Half of them were on business or on personal growth and development. The other half were solely on health, wellness, and fitness. So Good Energy, that is on the top of my list. So that made the top 8. Okay. So number 2 is Forever Strong. So Forever Strong by Gabrielle Lyons, this was transformational for me on understanding how important muscle is for longevity. She even talks about how muscle is the longevity organ, and how if we truly are seeking out longevity, that we have to improve our muscle. It also really helped shape my idea of insulin resistance, and how muscle is the only cell in the body that can bring blood glucose directly into the cell without insulin. And that's really impactful, because we know that too much insulin in the body can wreak havoc on a lot of our systems. So she went through and really laid the foundation for me to understand the importance of muscle, not just as a physique issue or a physique desire. It's really for our longevity and how we identify health and wellness into the later decades of our life. Number 3, this is Ancient Medicine by Josh Axe. Josh, another individual that I follow quite frequently on different podcasts, different YouTube videos, has a lot of great information from his studies in ancient medicine. Now, ancient medicine, we tend to look at as, if it's not coming in a pill from a pharmaceutical company, then it's not medicine. And he goes through and explains really well how, ancient medicine, Chinese medicine, Indian medicine has been around for 3,000 years. And from that, we've tested on humanity over and over and over the function of a lot of these natural herbs and spices that help improve our life, but it also helps shape an understanding for me on systems. And not just looking at the body as an isolated event. You have a kidney problem or you have a liver problem, that it's really a system issue. And how we address the system as an energy, this put that together. So Ancient Remedies, this book was really good too, and I still use this as a reference. In the back, it has a whole list of protocols for individuals that have different conditions. So I still reference this as a book to go to first look at natural remedies that will help improve our overall health before we just jump into any type of pharmaceuticals. Next book that really helped shape me in 2024 was Dirty Genes. Now, Dirty Genes by Ben Lynch. This came about because I listened to a lot of Gary Brecka and 10X Health, and understanding what the MTHFR, the COMT gene variants are doing for the body. This really lined up for me because a lot of individuals will have difficulty losing weight. They'll have a runaway mind. They'll not be able to relax and sleep properly. They'll have difficulty throughout their days because of the level of gene variant that is running wild in their body. So this helped explain to me, one, um, some of the symptoms that we get, because all the symptoms that we have in our body are really just cries for help. So there's certain symptoms that you get that are related to your genes that you can isolate down to a gene variant. But this also helped really shape for me that you can have dirty genes, which means that you do not have the gene variant from one of your parents or both of your parents that leads to a genetic variation, that leads to anxiety, that leads to weight gain, that leads to high blood pressure. You can also get these from having a dirty gene, meaning that the different contaminants that we put from the environment, from cleaning agents or other into our body, even food that we're getting that have preservatives or other, those all lead to creating a dirty gene, which then acts like you have the gene variant. So this is very important for me to help our clients in the health, wellness, fitness space improve their lives, not just in a weight loss or a fitness mode. It also helped improve their life in sleeping, in anxiety, in depression. This helps explain a lot of those and gives actual strategies on how to improve these. So Dirty Genes by Bed Lynch. It is more clinical in nature. So if you don't have much physiology or understanding as far as how the body works, this might be a tough read, but still Ben does a great job on isolating down the principles so that you can still follow this without having to have a PhD in physiology. So Dirty Genes. Number 5, this is The Hormone Cure, and this is by Sarah Gottfried, and she did a great job for me in helping me understand hormones related to primarily female, but also male. So we have individuals that are in our specialized strength program, and we mainly serve women that are around 55, give or take 20 years. But we also see men as well. But we have probably 80% of our clientele base are women, usually menopausal or postmenopausal. So this really helped shape for me why a lot of women, especially now, are getting more and more and more difficulties with their hormones that are not being explained fully in their health and wellness checkups. So when we go through and start looking at what estrogen is doing, what progesterone is doing in the body, how does testosterone play a factor? What are some of the basic symptoms that your body is screaming out to you, telling you that this is a hormone issue, all the way down to things like the thyroid, down to cortisol levels. This really helped put a huge piece of the puzzle together for me on understanding health and wellness, primarily for women. But it also helped me understand why men are having a greater incidence of lower testosterone, fertility issues, low sperm motility, that this is really starting to make it a challenge for men to maintain proper fitness, physique, muscle mass, and overall vitality. So The Hormone Cure, this is a great book. Again, at times it can be challenging without a anatomy or physiology base, but for an individual, she has great protocols that you can start on a basic level to start improving your own hormones. So again, Hormone Cure, great one. Sarah Gottfried, appreciate you writing this book to help overall with the understanding of how the body works for my clients. Now I'm getting down to my top 3. These are the 3 that really helped just isolate where we're going as a company, as an entity trying to promote longevity. And the next one, this is the book that was the one my client asked me to read, and I ordered it, and then months later realized I was going to order it again from a podcast and realized I already had it on my bookshelf. So that was a moment for me. But this is Outlive by Peter Attia. This is a comprehensive book. This is profound. And when you're looking at longevity, this book here is the foundation. And what I really appreciated that Peter did is he broke it down into basic terms in almost a pathway to follow on your own longevity journey. And he did a great job starting the book on progressing with why we're having difficulties with our health and our wellness, and he related a lot of it to his own personal journey. So it really drew you in to understand the problems that not just individuals in the health and wellness space see, but also for people that are also in the health and the wellness space that are physicians like Peter Attia that have some difficulties that they cannot explain, even from a medical doctor standpoint, realizing that the way that we're approaching medicine is not truly serving us at the highest level. So this does a great way of isolating down medicine 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. I use that all the time with my clients to explain how we're being preventative, we're being proactive. And it also creates kind of a divide at times when I'm telling them they need to get certain blood work done or they need to talk to their physician about certain areas. And this is where Peter Attia really breaks down that a lot of our medical establishment is still stuck in 2.0, which is the reactionary, let's wait till you get diabetes and then we'll give you medicine for it, instead of the 3.0, which is let's be proactive, let's know the signs that lead to it, and then let's put in place a lifestyle that makes it so you never develop diabetes. So, and part of that is then identifying your own health metrics. So blood work, other body fat percentage, VO2 max, developing those so that you can track them often. Just like you track your bank account often, you want to check your health account often so that you know exactly where you're at. And the minute that you start having too less of funds in your bank account, you can correct and start saving. Same thing with your health account. As soon as you realize that your health metrics are going the wrong way, you can immediately correct those before they lead into chronic disease. So Peter Attia does a great job going into also why there are certain pillars that lead to health span. And health span was a great understanding for me of longevity. So that's a great one. And then two, breaking into how we attack fitness from the muscle or strength side, power side, the VO2 max side, and then also the stability side, and how we cannot just isolate one, that all three are really pillars to longevity if we want to be able to shape our foundation. So the last little bit that I'll touch on is that he talks about the centenarian decathlete, that you have to have an athlete mindset if you want to live to be 100 and be functional. And what do I mean by functional is you have a good mind, you have mobility, you're independent, you're relatively pain-free, you could still be social in your life. If you want those things, you need to put in place right now action steps, things that you can say, hey, by the time I am 100, I still want to be able to go for a hike, pick up my grandkids, get off the floor independently. Whatever those desired tasks are, you need to train for them now. And so I'm 45. What I need to do is be able to plan in my life so that I have the strength, VO2 max, and mobility to be able to do those things. And strength is an easy one for us to see, but the one that is often overlooked is our VO2 max. And if you don't have the sufficient endurance to be able to do the task in the future, it doesn't matter how much strength you have. You're going to get too winded, you're going to get too fatigued, too tired. And Peter does a great job explaining how the average individual every decade of life is going to lose about 16% of their VO2 max. So if you're currently in your 40s with a low VO2 max and you at 80 want to still be able to hike or go up a flight of stairs at a basketball game, well, there's a VO2 max level that's required for that. And it could be that your VO2 max drops below that threshold by the time that you're 70 or 80, and your ability to go up and down the stairs at a basketball game or go for a light hike or try and get up off the floor is too challenging because you do not have the VO2 max or the cardio to be able to do it. Your endurance is too low. So again, spend a lot of time there on Outlive, something I still go to, still add these principles to my clients. Excellent, excellent book. Highly recommend. Coming down to the top two. Top two is Why We Get Sick. Okay, this is Benjamin Bickman. Does an excellent, excellent job breaking down insulin resistance. Now, I always had difficulty with my clients understanding how and why certain individuals get health metrics that go awry, from high blood pressure, high cholesterol, to being overweight, to anxiety, to diabetes, to fatty liver disease, to heart disease. And a lot of times we just say, well, it's genetic, and it's just bad luck. You ended up having dysfunctional genes. And it really breaks into, well, if it's truly a gene issue or a family history issue, then what gene variant is causing your high blood pressure? And we can't always isolate that down and say it's XYZ, because it's a lot of it is coming, why we're getting sick, why we're developing more chronic disease, is from insulin resistance. And this book was transformational in understanding for me what's happening at not just the symptom level, but all the way down to the mitochondrial level, and how the mitochondria is so vitally important to our health and our wellness. And what happens at the mitochondria affects everything that happens in our body. So again, the book Why We Get Sick really breaks down why we're getting chronic disease that's run rampant across the United States. So Ben does an excellent job of that, but then he also breaks down tangible tips on that you can apply. That I use these tips. I took plenty of notes from this book, from Outlive, on how to create certain frameworks so that my clients can get the results that they want, not just from a body mass side, but all the way down to how they can prevent and improve disease states that they're currently experiencing. So this book, transformational for anybody that wants to shore up their health. If you want to drive down chronic disease, you're thinking of things like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ADHD. All of this is explained in this book to the point where you can understand it and realize, wow, I've got to get on this now. I've got to change the way that I live my life. This has been a transformational book. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Right up there with Outlive. It is a very close top number one between those two. These two books, Outlive and Why We Get Sick, I have gone to the well on. I actually went through and wrote cliff notes on all of them, and then built guides on all of them that I can apply to my clients, because it is that good of a book. But my number one book for me for 2024 is actually this one, The Mitochondria and the Future of Medicine. Now, this was by Lee No, and this book was transformational in leading me to these other books. And it actually led me to also the Superhuman Protocol. So for me, this has been a game changer in understanding truly why we're getting chronic disease, why we're getting sick, why we age, why some people age really well and some people do not. This book breaks it down all the way to the cellular level at the mitochondria. And it really helped me not just understand that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I mean, that's basic biology. What it really did is it broke down for me understanding glycolysis, oxidative phosphorylation, understanding why the B vitamins are so critical, certain nutrients you've got to get in your body, like CoQ10, L-carnitine. Why even need L-carnitine? PQQ, certain processes in the body that are essential, like oxygen, and how we can have oxygen in our body, but we're not using it efficiently, and how that relates to VO2 max as we age. And then also how a lack of oxygen is going to lead to a lot of our chronic diseases. It'll lead to fibromyalgia, lead to chronic disease, ADHD, how improving our oxygen efficiency will help with diabetes, will help with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. I mean, it has been transformational for me to take this book and truly understand how the mitochondria is the root of all of our success in health and wellness. And if we can keep the mitochondria healthy, we can keep it flourishing, then our body will flourish. And this helped really bridge the gap for me to understand how the majority of pharmaceuticals that we ingest in our body actually just wreak havoc on our mitochondria and leads to what is now becoming known as mitochondrial dysfunction. And that mitochondrial dysfunction, I see in the next 20 years, will be the game changer and revolutionary approach that allow us to truly maximize our health and our wellness. We should not be getting as many individuals with diabetes, fatty liver disease, heart disease, cancers, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. All of these are just rampant solely because of the dysfunction of the mitochondria. So this to me laid the foundation. It was the groundwork for me to then get and understand why we get sick. It was the groundwork for me to understand, outlive, and how we generate better longevity. It was the groundwork for understanding the superhuman protocol on how improving oxygen efficiency at the mitochondrial level is going to improve our energy levels. It's going to change our free radicals, our oxidative process. I did not have the understanding of what oxidation is, of free radicals, what that whole process was until I read this book, and why it's pivotal in our lives, and how including different nutrients into our food then attacks those free radicals, and it really augments our health overall. So for me, to be able to get into hormones, to be able to get into our genes, to be able to understand ancient remedies that allow us and what that's actually doing at the cellular level to help improve our mitochondria, all of this played a factor, all the way down to improving our muscle with Forever Strong and understanding that at the mitochondrial level, all the way down to good energy. And what good energy is really talking about is the mitochondria. So this book, all the way down to good energy, created a full circle of understanding that if we take care of the mitochondria from a nutrition, supplement, environment, from a health and fitness, from an oxygen, from a food source, from our exercise, our wellness, our fitness. If we take care of that, that really drives our overall health and our wellness. So to me, as you can see from these top books, they were revolutionary for me to be able to understand health, wellness, fitness, and what we're trying to do with longevity. And this has only allowed me to move forward in accentuating our ability to progress in our programs with our clients, from a fitness, from a wellness, from a gene, from a biohacking to a longevity standpoint. So I hope that if you continue to watch this video all the way to the end, I know I'm getting close to 30 minutes. If you've watched this, I hope that you take and at least read one of these books and start the journey that I did, that helped me shape and understand truly health, wellness from a mitochondrial standpoint, and how that leads to chronic disease and truly how to prevent it. So again, this book, a lot of physiology, but does a great job of breaking down the foundation that is needed for our health and our wellness. So again, if you watched it to the end, I appreciate you. If any of these books resonate with you, start with them. Easy to acquire. Start reading your journey. I hope that at least one person out there that is watching this ends up getting one of these books, and it helps them progress in their fitness, in their health, their wellness, their longevity, because truly that's what we're trying to do, is improve our lives to have the greatest, longest life that we actually enjoy. So stay healthy, stay well, continue to improve your longevity, and I'll see you next time.